Hey everyone, welcome to Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
And I'm Robbie.
And today we're going to talk about episode 2 of Moon Knight. And this was the episode where I'm guessing we saw more of Khonshu. We really got more of the backstory, not just on Stephen Grant and Marc Spector's past, but also on Arthur Harrow, the character Ethan Hawke plays. So yeah, I thought this episode was a lot better than the first one.
We're slow down there, Forrest. We're also going to talk about Halo, episode 3, and what we thought about the Stranger Things season 4.
Okay. Well, I didn't see Halo episode 3, so just fair warning. We'll hear you
watch it.
We'll hear you drone about episode 2 real fast because we know you watched that, so we don't want to waste that out.
And the Stranger Things.
And Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Boy, does that look cool. Let's do Stranger Things first because that'll be really fast. What do you guys think? That looks awesome.
Yeah, I love the
Through all kinds of stuff.
soundtrack.
It's going to be 2. Oh, I cannot. Speaking of, the soundtrack was great for the trailer. Like, that is, like, pay attention to Hollywood. That is how you make a trailer right there. But I cannot wait to see the in-universe reason that guy is playing a guitar in the middle of that hellstorm.
Was that supposed to be Billy, or is that someone else?
It looked like someone else, but it's
Okay.
been a minute since I've seen Stranger Things.
My gathering was like he's been in the Upside Down this entire time, or something like that, because he was like on a trailer.
They were definitely in the Upside Down.
So they've just been in the Upside Down
playing.
the whole time.
It looked
Was it
really
each-
cool.
Was it each season of Stranger Things like a totally different story, or are they all connected?
No, I mean season 3 was like the exact same as season 2.
It's been
Like loose
monster.
continuity, right? Like, I mean, they're all facing the same big bad guy, but there's like different things happening each season. A new baddie, a new thing happening. The kids are growing up.
Well, it was the mind.
I didn't
Flayer
see
in
season
2 and
3.
I would say it's worth watching.
So yeah,
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It seems it's gonna be
broken up into 2 volumes. One coming out in May and then one coming out in June. So that's really
I
interesting.
hope it's gonna be like not one's gonna be set in California, the other one's gonna be set in Hawkins. Hopefully they're like it's gonna be like one episode in California, one in Hawkins, or those like be 50-50 each episode. And
Don't forget Russia.
oh yeah, in Russia, because it's gonna be spread across 3 different I guess settings. So that'll be interesting. And it looks like Hopper's like they're making the prisoners fight Demogorgons or something like that. So so it's like who would have thought Russians could be so evil, in this day and age. But like
I mean, anyone who's been playing the Call of Duty franchise for the last 20 years.
Yeah. Well, luckily Russia's a lot better now.
He says sarcastically, our hearts and prayers go out to the people in Ukraine.
Yeah.
What do you guys think would be the outcome if Ukraine had a Master Chief? Look at that fucking segue. Give me a
I still haven't seen
applause.
episode 3, but I don't know. I mean, to stay on Stranger Things, I'm kind of wondering what that thing is at the end with like all the things sticking out of its back.
Oh, I was wondering what everything was. The entire trailer.
We know that,
Like,
we
what
know
is that?
they're
Oh, what
back
is
upside
that?
down for some reason. We know that 11 loses her powers. I hope they bring back Kali, her sister.
Does she
I
lose
know
her
everyone
powers?
hated it.
What were her powers?
Telekinesis.
The Force. She had the Force in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But she had that conversation. There was the narrator overview or the narration.
I think
I might have to
Oh,
catch
really?
up on. I might have to catch up on Stranger Things. I thought they were all like separate seasons.
Hey, we can rewatch season 3 together. We just have to
What's
see
it?
episode 8.
Yeah. So I hope they at least bring back who was her dad in the first season? Not her dad, but
Who's your
doctor.
daddy? I have no idea.
Dr. Brenner, I think. Hopefully he comes back, and hopefully Kali comes back. I know everyone hates that episode, but it would just be like a shame to not bring back that plot thread.
Well, that was supposed to be. They were backdoor testing a pilot.
Yeah, I think they were
Spin-off.
trying to get a spin-off going, and like everyone hated that episode. They were just like, nope.
Yeah, the fastest way to kill a spinoff.
But I
Or
prefer
have it star
not
Joey
based on
Fatone.
Stranger Things. I like it being its own. I like it being its own universe. And I mean, I imagine like when they finish up season 5, they're going to do some sort of spin-off.
Do you think
or at
there's
least
going to be
try.
like an It type of situation where it comes back in 30 years? and they're all adults.
Maybe they
and
can
have to
do
come
like
back.
a prequel with Hopper and Will Byers' mom in the 60s.
The 50s?
Maybe the 60s, right?
Because
he went to Vietnam.
60s could be fun.
Yeah, so they're just like,
Unless he's in Vietnam when it's happening.
Well, that would be like, mid 60s. But yeah, I mean, from what I understood, he was in Vietnam, and
they have him in the first episode, and then you never see him again.
So. But I don't know. We'll see. It looks good. I'll definitely watch it. I mean, Netflix needs a win after Jupiter's Legacy and Cowboy Bebop both got canceled after one season. So, basically, all they have is like Stranger Things and Mindhunter. I mean, not Mindhunter, but Ozark.
Oh, but Mindhunter looks like it might be coming back for season 3, so that's exciting.
Yeah, nothing's
nothing's concrete, but at least they're talking about it.
So it's not like, I don't even think it's been announced. They're working on it. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll watch Ozark. I think season 4 part 2 is premiering this month.
Have you seen Space Force? Space Force is great.
I can get into it.
Season 2 is especially funny. Like, my wife didn't like season 1. She loves season 2.
That's the Star Trek spinoff, right?
No,
that's
the guy did the Office.
Oh yeah, the guy from The Office.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes of it.
The second season's a lot more laugh out loud. It's a lot less like satire of like bureaucracy and government.
It's very anti-Trump administration, but now that the Trump administration's gone, it's sort of like I'm sure he can find his own identity. But basically, the whole show is a middle finger to Donald Trump. Because he's the one who's initiated the Space Force program, and basically like he's getting tweets from Trump throughout the series like saying like, let the general get the thing of duty, give the general the thing he asked for, or something like that. So like, it's like basically like being an actual employee of Donald Trump is like the worst job ever. So but yeah, Stranger Things season 4, I'll watch it. Let's eclipse this conversation and talk about Moon Knight.
As he avoids Halo as much as he can.
No, that's okay. We'll save Halo for because Halo's
told you.
I know
has some
you didn't
scathing. No, but he's got some opinions. He's seen episode 2, so we can get his opinions on episode 2, and then you and I can talk about episode 3. But let's dive into Moon Knight, which is really
Moon Knight. Episode 2 was really good.
Here.
Big difference from episode 1.
Did you guys know that Steven was the alternate identity and not Mark? Like, that was a really good, like, kind of twist for episode 2. Like, the first whole episode, you think Steven's, like, the normal guy. He's got a mom, even though he's only getting her voicemail. And Mark's this intruder. But it's the other way around. Mark's, like, the guy with the wife in the background. And Steven's, like, this alternate personality.
Yeah, so it seems like Steven's going to be in the back seat for a while, which I think is good because he was getting annoying. Like, I get it. Like, you don't want to fight, but you're literally being chased by jackal monsters, and you kind of need to defend yourself. So you need to let.
What do you think about? I thought that was a great way to nod to sneak in that Mr. Knight suit.
Yeah, I know. I think I read the Warren Ellis run, and I didn't really understand like the whole point of that. Like, apparently, it's a different personality.
Yeah,
but I don't really see how it's any different from the regular Moon Knight personality besides it's just a suit instead of a cape.
It's like the part of like New York that he's in, or the part of like wherever he's patrolling. Like the cops don't like.
It wasn't really like.
So
really
like he does like more detective.
It's like basically just a different costume he's wearing.
But I really liked how they snuck that in. Like, that was really good. I was curious how they were gonna have.
Yeah, it was done for fan service, but
I thought it was fan service done right.
Yeah, it's just basically like if you say suit.
That suit looked good. I might do that for Halloween. That was a good looking suit.
Good thing he didn't say like mime as he was falling. He would have been like in a mime costume, the mask. So it just seemed like whatever random thing he said, he turned into the power of Khonshu. So if he said like ninja, he would have been like in a white ninja garb.
Speaking of the power of Khonshu, I love that the most he can do is just blow wind.
Yeah, I like that he's like basically powerless and he can only work through his avatars. So I thought that was an interesting detail. It really shows like how much like he needs Mark, but Mark needs him. And I really like that like Khonshu's sort of like a dick in this too. So it's sort of like who's the real bad guy? You
think your body belongs to you? Ha ha ha. F. Murray Abrams is amazing. I think he's really good as Khonshu.
Yeah, I mean, I really only know him from like Scarface and Amadeus, but I think he like won an Oscar for Amadeus. So like, he's definitely got the chops.
He was also in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, I haven't seen that. But he's like, once you win an Oscar, you like, you have pretty much like a free pass to be in a lot of other good stuff. So, but yeah, he's great. I'm trying to remember where else would happen. I really like that.
What are you talking about his wife?
His wife, yeah, I guess we should talk about his wife. She was in this. She existed, and she didn't really leave an impression beyond the fact that they're married, and that was about it. She didn't really leave a whole big impression on me. I really was more interested in Ethan Hawke's character. We found out that he was the former Moon Knight.
So let's talk about that in a second. Let's skip ahead to like the end with this Ethan Hawke character, this Arthur Harrow. Moon Knight loses the scarab. A hobo picks it up off the ground, and then Ethan Hawke comes over and says like, "Oh, I think that's mine," and then he judges him. But like the way he says it, he's like, "Your sacrifice will help better humanity or whatever." But it seems like he like sucks his soul or kills him like before he really had time to judge like their soul, like we saw in like episode 1.
Asked to be judged. He just wanted.
Yeah, he just like it just looked like a hit, like it looked like a murder.
It's kind of like Riddler at the end of Batman. Even though it's not really like in tune with his character, you have to have the villain do evil stuff. You just have to like do it.
Yeah, so the wife could see it and be horrified. And
yeah, so it's just the villain doing evil stuff, even though it isn't.
And what was up? So like what do you call it? Mark and Arthur were talking over or I guess it was Steven at that point, and Arthur were talking over some lentil soup, and then the wife comes out and she's like, "I've got the scarab," and then she like jumps down, and then she's like, "Well, turn, use the suit, Mark." And it's like, that was your whole plan, was to run into danger with the only thing they're looking for, and then hope like this guy turns into a superhero. That was like a super Lois Lane moment.
She did not get the memo that that's not Mark. It's a different personality. But
I don't know how she missed it. He only said it 1,000 times.
Yeah, but
like at what point do you stop like saying "shut up, you're Mark," and then start saying like, "What is happening here?"
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, she didn't really leave a big impression on me. And the thing is, like, I think she's a character created just for the show. Like, I think his girlfriend in the comics is called Marlene, and she was at the dig site where they were excavating the Khonshu statue. So I thought it's very strange that she's not even in the show, and they just created this new character. I probably would care more if it was the character from the comics. But they pretty much could have called her Marlene, and it would have been fine. But I don't know why they decided to just
maybe she's coming in the future then.
I'm assuming, yes. I'm guessing like in the next episode they'll do a flashback of when Mark was killed. Hopefully they'll bring Bushman in, but they'll hopefully bring I think Marlene and her dad, who are also there, and Frenchie also. So it seems like very strange, like almost like none of the Moon Knight supporting cast has shown up, except Crawley, which is sort of like a half-assed attempt. Why would Crawley be in London? He's supposed to be in New York City. He's a hobo in New York City. I don't know why he's a human statue in London. But yeah, I mean, besides that little nitpicking stuff, this was a good episode. Definitely the fight scene between the Jackal and the Mr. Knight was partially enjoyable. Like, we finally got to see him in the costumes. I was like, yes, finally. But I like that,
so in that form, he's called Mr. Knight.
Yeah, basically.
with the suit on, with the tuxedo.
But it's still technically the Steven persona. It's just like he partially has the powers of the Moon Knight, but it's still Steven,
Mm-hmm. So they told me to put on a suit, and that's what he.
So I put on the suit. What are we wearing here?
I
mean, because that makes a good point. He doesn't know what the traditional
he never saw
Khonshu looks like.
He basically blacks out when he sees it. So.
Yeah, so I mean that makes perfect sense. I thought it was really clever. I thought that was fan service done well.
Yeah, he didn't know what they were talking about. All right, bring out the suit.
And how good those glowing eyes look.
Oh yeah, that's in like some Deadpool vibes from him, just with the mask and stuff.
Yeah.
I can see that completely. What do you think about? No, go ahead, Forrest.
Oh, I'm just looking forward to the next episode because I think it's gonna be like Mark now, which I think is, what it should have been like. It should have started off with Mark, and then maybe like, later on establish the alternate personalities. But I really, I would prefer if it just like started off with like Mark as the mercenary, being killed, being resurrected by Khonshu, instead of like just doing like this jumping ahead and like showing a different personality. But I give him points for trying to be different, but I would prefer like a more straightforward origin story, because I don't think they should do his origin in the third episode. They should like probably done in the first one, but that's just me.
He is back in Egypt, as we find out at the end of the episode. Now, tinfoil hat theory here. I've got a theory. I'm not sure if I mentioned on the podcast before, but like every one of these different personas has a different hairstyle, and the Oscar Isaac we see at the end of episode 2 has a distinctly different hair than Steven or Mark. Now he also looks like he's pissed drunk, so it might just be that. But is this a third identity
It could be Jake Lockley, but I would prefer they introduce Jake Lockley when he's in New York, if he's ever in New York.
Season 2.
I'm guessing they're saving Jake Lockley for season 2, but I mean, it could have easily been Marc Spector. I could be wrong, but my understanding was that it was Mark, but it could be Jake. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was Jake. But I just think I understand why Steven has an English accent. They want to differentiate the personalities more. So I'm guessing maybe they'll just give him like a rough Brooklyn or thick Brooklyn accent when he's Jake, because he's like a cab driver in New York City. So,
See that.
We'll just see. But I would prefer if like, he was in America and he was like a cab driver as Jake, and he was like a millionaire as Steven. So, but like I said, we'll just see. And from what else happened in this episode? I guess we should go over like the locker scene. That's where like he goes in and he finds all the money. Apparently you can sleep in your storage unit.
Yeah, maybe that's
I'm pretty sure storage
He's
units
got a bed and
big.
everything in there.
That was like bigger than like my apartment, that storage unit. So
that was a very big storage unit.
that was very unbelievable.
The QR code on his storage unit, you can scan it and it'll take you to the digital comic for Werewolf by Midnight, the one where he debuts, and it's pretty cool. What comic is that? 34,
Yeah, I saw that.
27?
I think there was another QR code when I was watching a breakdown.
There's a QR code in the first episode, but I missed it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might have been the first
It's an
episode.
interesting Easter egg, a very futuristic Easter egg, or very modern Easter egg.
Yeah, it's like when he's opening the door, there's a QR code on the door.
It's just like you can't live in your storage unit, for one, and be like, that storage unit's bigger than like most apartments in London, which is like probably one of the most expensive places to live in the world, like along with New York City and Tokyo.
I mean, did you see that bag full of money?
Yeah.
It's true, but couldn't he just afford a regular apartment then?
I feel like that takes too much paper. That takes too much paperwork.
And how about how easy it was to find
Or
that place when he obviously didn't even know his own last name?
I mean, he said he went to 6 ones first.
I saw you.
Oh, I never forget
know
the
a
face.
face.
I'm like, oh, that's convenient.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really all I remember from the episode. We beat up. Well, I think we're going backwards, but yeah, I think
We're hopping around. We're just a couple of guys talking about our
that
shows.
Ethan Hawke is in like messed with the video footage, or is it just like maybe Khonshu did it? So no one would know he's Moon Knight. Because remember the video footage, they're going to the video footage and they don't see any of the jackals. They don't see him.
Well, she didn't see it. She didn't. The wife Layla didn't see the jackal first either. She had to throw a bottle on it.
Oh, so it's sort of like Hook. You have to believe.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they kind of wrote it so you're still curious. Like, wait, is like Oscar or like is Steven like crazy? Like, because that'd be really cool for him to attack like an invisible creature. But like the first minute of the battle, like Mr. Knight is just going around punching air. It looked like Disney ran out of money for like CGI for like 5
and
minutes.
that's another aspect of the show I wish they sort of delved into. Like, is he crazy or is this stuff actually real?
Yeah, but they're really just like, no, we're gonna show you because this looks really cool. We're gonna show this purple like disintegration into the floor, and then a jackal's gonna come out. And then that leads me to another question: can he only summon one jackal?
Apparently, yeah. Took literally 5 minutes for him to summon one jackal.
I feel like he was like a D&D character, just like limited by some bullshit rules. Like he couldn't get two, like the god couldn't give him 2 jackals. He just could do 1
You
jackal.
need a 24-hour cooldown period.
You're right. Oh, I need to take a long rest. It's these damn shoes. They're full of glass.
But yeah, I mean, they could. I think like this show would have been more enjoyable if it played with the idea that like Khonshu may or may not be real. But it seems like all this Egyptian stuff is real. So you know,
they should have put like the WandaVision writers on it. Like, what the fuck is happening? Just like the first 3 episodes.
So yeah. So and he also kidnaps and tortures an entire town. So
yeah. Now, granted, so if you go back to my review of episode 1, I was crying for my mama, begging for a blue sky beam. But I'm just really impressed with like how they're doing episode 2, and episode 3 looks so dope. So like, no complaints here.
Beam? We got a purple beam when he summoned the jackal, didn't we?
Yeah, we got a. Was it a beam? It was more like a hole. It was a black hole.
Oh,
but I'll take it.
Like maybe like
I'll take it.
Light came up, but I can't remember. It was like a week since I've seen it. So, yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying this show. It's not, amazing, but I think I'm enjoying it much more than Hawkeye. I don't think it's as inventive or like as interesting as Loki, but I think I'm liking it, and probably not as intriguing as the early episodes of WandaVision.
It's no Guardians of Peace, that's for sure.
Yeah. So
Guardians of Justice.
But I think this has potential to be better than at least WandaVision, and maybe like on par with Loki, but we'll just see. I'm interested to see what happens, but I'm just not like really hooked. But
it was the Guardians of Justice.
It just seems like they didn't really have a good idea what Moon Knight was, and they're just sort of like just throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall to see what works and what doesn't. They're taking like all these little things from the comics, like that were part like Mr. Knight, and the Khonshu, and the different personalities. They're sort of just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. They didn't really have like a very concrete idea of what they want to do.
Which seems weird, because this is like the only like Oscar Isaac's like the only major like Marvel actor I'm aware of who just signed like a 1 contract deal. Like he doesn't have to come back as Moon Knight ever again in the future if he doesn't want to.
Do you think they're gonna like replace him with the girl? Because that's what
I mean, she can certainly fight, but I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna like keep him for some kind of like offshoot of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really like.
Aren't they doing a bunch of spin-off Avenger teams? Someone's got to fight the Sinister Six.
Yeah. Well, I'm really like that there's virtually no references to the MCU in this beyond like the standard forced Marvel humor. I don't think there's like been a single reference to the Avengers or anything else Marvel.
Yeah, where's my Spider Monkey reference or whatever?
Yeah, they're usually best not to mention Spider-Man in this, because there's still a lot of tug of war between Disney and Sony over how and when you mention Spider-Man.
I mean, it was a tug of war until Morbius came out, and then Marvel just let go of the rope and was like, "Nope, you take all of the Marvel references out. This is a terrible movie."
Well, it's just like Morbius bomb. It's basically like Sony's just so desperate to have like their own Spider-Verse, and like Venom really emboldened them. Like as like disliked as that movie was, it still made a lot of money. So they're like, oh, we did it with Venom, we can do it with Morbius, a much more popular character. And now they're doing Craven, so it's, and then Madam Web, I think. So it's just like they're just like going for it full steam, and it's going to crash and burn, because these characters are just not, Madam Web especially. I think even Craven, like no one cares about Craven unless he's fighting Spider-Man. Like, and even like Morbius, like no one cares unless he's fighting Spider-Man or Blade. So at least you have like more, options. Venom, I think, has had a successful tenure in the comics as a solo character. So I think, he's able to get away with it. And plus you had Carnage in the comics. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's best they just like avoid mentioning Spider-Man in the near future. So that's really what I had for Moon Knight. Looking forward to the next episode.
Are you looking forward to the next episode of Halo?
I mean, I guess I already have Paramount Plus for another month, so I guess
I might as well. So we'll go over your thoughts for Halo, what you think so far, watching
episode 2, the one I've actually seen.
And then Rob and I will kind of talk about episode 3 and what happens. It'll be a lot of fun.
So basically, he meets his friend Bokeem Woodbine on the Belter planet. This show is like a mixture of Mandalorian, Expanse, and just like a few references to Halo. So it's very strange. It's like definitely borrowing heavily from other better shows.
Dude, the station they go to looks exactly like, very similar to Grimhex in Star Citizen.
Well, it looks
bunch of people
like
on Reddit
the
and stuff
Belter
are talking
Station
about
of the Expanse. That's what made me think of it. Like made me think that they're in the Expanse universe now. You know, because I've only seen the first season of the Expanse, but like, what was the planet they were on? It was like a giant asteroid that's in the belt.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, it reminded me of that. It's just like, you know, sort of like.
But I mean, living on an asteroid, that's not like copyright infringement, right? That's not stealing like IP, like that's out there.
Yeah. But I also saw the scene. Was that the Prophet of Mercy and the Prophet of Truth with the Prophet of Regret?
Yep, those three.
I remember the Prophet of Mercy, but isn't the Prophet of Truth supposed to be one in charge? Why is Mercy why is Regret giving orders? It's a bit weird to me. But
they all look alike. I don't know.
They all look alike.
Yeah.
Only one elite in this episode. No grunts yet, or hunters or jackals. So they better hurry up.
You'll get to see a kneecap in episode 3.
Yeah, I mean,
they are teasing the action hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the Blessed One's going to go infiltrate the humans next episode.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm glad she did get naked, but I don't really understand why. I guess she had like it over.
Yeah, this is you too.
It makes a lot more sense after episode 3.
Oh, okay. She just likes being nude. I don't know.
Was it because she was changing?
No, it's because you got to show Master Chief naked, so you got to have equality.
Oh, are you talking about
that? Balance it out.
Yeah, how are you gonna balance out?
You have to have an even boob to dong ratio.
Spoiler alert! Episode 3 was my wife's favorite episode of television that I've made her watch for the podcast.
Because she saw Master Chief's butt.
Abs, everything but the total package.
Everything but pipe. And if it was HBO, you would have seen that pipe.
Yeah. You didn't see a Spartan laser or anything, but you saw everything else.
You didn't see his plasma pistol?
No,
Cortana
didn't see his plasma pistol. Cortana, that wasn't awkward at all.
Or did you already say that?
No, didn't say a sentinel beam because that's not a human.
See his rocket launcher.
Spartan laser's good enough. Is that even in Halo Infinite? Maybe it's
not. It always, or his railgun.
Spartan laser just charges up and then blah.
His railgun. Wait, that's not a weapon in
Halo? Too quick. So,
that would be a plasma pistol.
Hopefully it gets better. We saw the other.
I love it. So like so after your
my boycott.
bolding critiques on it, I've done some more research online, and I've looked at some of the figureheads and what they're talking about, and they're hating it because it's not the books or the TV or the video games. And I'm just like, oh, but they already have books and they already have video games.
The show is just dull,
the show
is just,
is dull. It's more of a person. They're building a character right now. Like, I am falling in love with who the Master Chief is as a person right now. Like, you're seeing him grow.
And that's the whole reason he takes his helmet off.
You're seeing him grow, and he gets like, that's why you see him naked without any armor. He's becoming vulnerable because he's taking the motion chip out of his back.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically, they're just like I said, they're borrowing heavily from the Expanse, Mandalorian, and now like RoboCop. Like, he's starting to remember memories, but he's a property of the government. So
isn't everything borrowing from everything at some point or the other?
Yeah, but it's like heavily borrowing from RoboCop at this point. At least Master Chief's arc. So it's
I've never seen RoboCop, so I can't say yes or no.
You're doing yourself a disservice because that movie's amazing. You're gonna be like, wow, this is a lot like Halo. Why'd they rip off Halo? Although that came out like in the 80s. So I mean,
same thing I did with Star Wars and
I mean, this episode was like very much a filler episode, which is, I think, very strange for the second episode of a series. But I mean, from what Rob says, episode 3, I think it turns up the action a bit. some guy was executing some other rebels, but I didn't care. So I'm surprised I remember that. So Bokeem Woodbine was in it. He was like the Shocker in the Spider-Man movie, and he was also in Fargo season 2. He's great in that, but this he was just there. So.
Yeah, he'll be there in episode 3. Which let's get into it. But first, I want to pass along a message from Pablo Schreiber, which he left on Instagram, basically saying, for all the fans rooting against the home team who hated the show before they saw it and disagree with what we're doing, I respect your opinion and I love you too. Because the truth is, we love the same thing, and I will keep working my ass off each and every day to make sure this show is the best version of itself.
Well, he's not the problem. The problem is just like the writing and the producers and Paramount existing.
But I think you have to give it a season. You can't judge a book 2 chapters in.
Well, I mean, hopefully
less than 2 chapters.
The Witcher sort of did this with they took the critiques from the first season and they sort of course corrected no more alternate timelines. Even though they had that one bitchy line about oh, you're just too dumb to understand. Why don't you write your own story? Which I think is typical go-to for writers who can't take criticism. So hopefully.
And one comparison?
I think they've already renewed it for season 2.
Well, I think this is an ambitious piece because so in episode 3, we start off with a flashback going back to the Blessed One when she was a child and how she gets her book and how she's about to kiss her boy crush, and then he gets killed by some douchebag garbage workers, right? And then she gets kidnapped she gets taken by the elite because the illuminator goes off, and it goes off when you're around Forerunner technology. So they're building up her backstory. I think this isn't just some kind of run and gun. I think this is trying to build be an actual story.
I feel there's more planned in the future, and they're just kind of adding on to the characters, kind of to feel it out.
Would I love for them to throw in a 10-minute scene where they Master Chief has to kill a bunch of elites every episode? Sure, that would be cool, but that'd be really hard to write around.
Yeah.
I'd rather I want to give it the first season, and the only reason I'm not freaking out right now is because they've already been signed on for season 2. So someone at the top has seen how this plays out, and it's apparently good enough for a season.
And and a little spoiler, they're going to Reach.
Content that they're
going to be going to Reach.
Yeah.
Their Star Trek shows are just not really universally acclaimed. So they need content desperately. So I'm not surprised they greenlit the season 2.
That's a great point. That's a very good point.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully they don't start writing season 2 until season 1's finished. They get some feedback. My worry is that they're just gonna go ahead and shoot ahead with season 2, and just not listen to the critical and the audience reactions.
And if they are, I guarantee they've already started rewriting it. Because we talked about this last episode, but they had over 540 drafts for season 1. So they're not afraid to throw away the script and try over again. So Halo community, keep that feedback coming.
Hopefully they can get the legal hurdles to get the score back, because get the most iconic score in video game history and you can't even use it in the show. So they need to get that fixed, because it's not Halo without that music. So not sorry. It's not just that. There's so many good pieces from the first 3 games.
Or have them drop in with the
It's a break in there.
So the lawsuits over unpaid royalties. I mean, Microsoft.
Paramount can afford it. Look at those graphics, the CGI. They can.
Well, it was only $90 million for the season. I think that's less than one Lord of the Rings episode coming out from Amazon.
Pay them $5 million, and then boom, they can use the music.
Probably every time Cortana pops up, I wonder how much money they're spending.
But that's why they made her white, because.
Well, you haven't seen episode 3 yet.
I do like the blue tinge to her. I think it looks.
It's
really good.
It's like an animated holographic Cortana, but she's like full size.
Yeah. What did you think about the tease of the hunters? What did you think about those worms?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you see his foot in the corner.
Yeah,
He's just standing there watching her.
she's talking.
But then they
no,
just
I'm all
and they just
alone."
went all
Silly
worms.
humans. Boom. I'm so glad they didn't do that in the video games. Holy crap. That'd be a lot harder to kill.
It seems
Yeah, it's like fighting the flood.
Yeah, that's what I said with the tentacles.
Yeah, so like the hunters are just a bunch of
It's a whole bunch
collection
of worms.
And so
Yeah,
like, what we
inside
see
some
is
armor.
she boards a Covenant spaceship drops out of space, and she calls over like the human emergency intercoms and says like, "Hey, I'm like all alone. They all left me." And so she goes aboard ship. My question is, so he like takes a shuttle from the Covenant ship to the UNSC ship. Did they not scan for life forms on board? It was just her. They had the worms not get scanned. But anyway, that's not important. So she comes on board. They search her. She's good. They're like, humans are like, "Oh, come here," and then she's like, kills them. She's like searching for information on where they put the artifact, but
And how
her
about that
mission
little
was useless.
how about that little energy sword fingernail?
Dope. Where was that in the game? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really cool. Can't wait to get my wife a pair of those for Christmas.
Well,
It'll make cooking a lot
She had
easier.
to
hopefully I'll get around to
try
watching
to
it
find her way out of there.
for next week. Hopefully I'll watch both episodes. Both episodes I haven't seen by next week.
I
'cause
tell
you'll
you,
have, you'll have episode 4 by the next podcast.
I watched the first 8 episodes of Venture Bros.
Hey, all first 8?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
Oh, so you got some catching up for us.
there's only 4 to 2. There'll only be 4, so
Yeah. Still, it seems
Yeah.
to take
Well,
a
how
bit
much
to
did
get
you
through.
that'll carry us into the next episode of Zeitgeist Zealots. Same time, same wonderful podcast place.
well, I won't give you a hard time if you don't want to watch Venture Brothers. I just would just recommend it. Watching it once you finish the new episode of Halo or Moon Knight. So what do you think of the first season of Venture Brothers? Or is it the first season or just the first 8 episodes?
I watched the first 8 episodes. I think the first season is like 13.
Oh, okay.
I laughed out loud once. I
Mhm.
overall was not sure why you recommended this to me, but I enjoy your recommendations and I'm gonna give it
Well,
a season.
You watch it more for the story, not so much like the comedy. If you're just a fan of like just storytelling, then yeah, I think you're gonna enjoy it. But if you're just expecting like a laugh a minute, then it does get funny. But it's just like I watch more for the story.
I mean, I really
Okay.
enjoyed what's
The
his
way
name?
you were talking about it, I thought it was more about a funny show.
Yeah. What's his name? Who plays like the bodyguard?
Rock Sampson.
Yeah. Whatever his name is from Seinfeld. I really
Um,
enjoy the sound of his voice. I'll watch
He's
it
the best
all
character.
just because of the bodyguard's really funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But yeah, keep watching it. I think you'll like it. I mean, I think it's like probably like one of the best written series, and it's an animated series, so it doesn't get as much. But it's interesting because like the show was like on from 2003 to 2017, and only like 7 seasons. So like because they only had they only had 2 writers for each season, so it took like 2.5 years between seasons. So like they really did put a lot of. They really did put a lot of effort into like making each season like seem cohesive and building upon the last. So I think
Okay.
it's definitely worth watching in its entirety.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like a 92% Rotten Tomatoes. Like, there's got to be a good reason for that. So I'm all for it.
And I think
What's it streaming on?
It's on
HBO Max.
Hulu. But I think
Or-
it's also on
I don't know if
HBO
my
Max.
Hulu's going or not.
According to Google, it's on Hulu, but you need a premium membership. But it's on HBO Max.
8.6 on IMDb, so 25,000 ratings. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. But I won't be mad if you don't watch it. I think,
I'll keep watching if you
I'll
keep
probably
watching.
check it out.
So yeah, that's really
Something
all
else
I
to
have.
watch on HBO Max.
Right, you gotta have something to keep you through the episodes of Moon Knight and Halo. And Winning Times, if you haven't seen
You
that,
have
that's
a-
really good on HBO Max as well.
You have a reason for all these subscriptions.
Right.
And I'm losing track. I'm probably like they're all going to be like I'm only have to pay them at one time next month. I'm like, where's all my money?
Right? It's gonna be like, this is worse than my cable bill was.
Yeah, if you add them all up, it's probably close.
And a lot of them have commercials anyway, you know.
Because you pay their premium membership.
So
or whatever
many
they
commercials.
want to call it.
Yeah, at least.
Oh my gosh, I ended up throwing in the extra $5 on Paramount because God, it's just
It's not as bad.
so
on
many.
Paramount,
There's so
really
many.
bad on Hulu.
They're all like, well, even on Paramount, they're all like 2 minutes long, and there's like
Hulu's
6 of
worse
them an
because it's like
episode.
2 minutes
Hulu
before you,
is
2
the
minutes before you
worst.
start watching it, it shows the intro. Then another 2 minutes before the show even starts. So you have to wait like 5 minutes before you even watch the show clicked on. So it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
but that's our show, everyone. Made you want to plug our social media?
Absolutely, I do. Let us know what you are thinking about Halo. If you hate it, please let us know. I'm sure Forrest will appreciate the vindication. If you love it, let us know. Because Rob and I love being right. And I'm sure you do as well. We can't wait to see Moon Knight this week, and we can't wait to see you either. You can tweet at us at Zealot Podcast on Twitter and join our Discord if you want to be a part of the conversation. We'll be in the link. Don't forget to rate and review this podcast. Thanks so much for listening, guys. We really appreciate it.
All right. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
Now I'm Robbie.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.